This is Scorpion for another 5 questions in 7 minutes. This time with Chuck D of Revolution Entertainment.
What's good, man?
Alright, Chuck, you ready?
I'm as ready as it gets. So, lay it on me.
Alright, your first question. How did you get started in rapping?
Rapping in general?
Yeah, rapping in general.
I mean...
How far does it go back?
You know, let's see, I'm 21 now. Let's say I started when I was 12. I'd say I probably started listening to like big timers, and I'd be writing over. I didn't even have the instrumental. I would just be writing over the real track, and I'd be rapping about the bling bling and Jaguars, and I'd be like a 12-year-old, and none of it made sense, but I was working on it. But I mean, I took starting writing over Cash Money records or No Limit records or whatever at the age of 12. By the time I was 14 I was in the studio for the first time making my first song.
Oh really? What studio was that?
That would be On the Rise Entertainment, and that was in New Albany, Indiana, and it was actually being ran by Tony Tone of Just Because and the infamous SC and Uno of Revolution Entertainment.
Huh.
So,
kind of answers 2 questions in one.
Yeah, that kind of lays a little bit out. But yes, I started rapping when I was about 12, 13, 14. Like I said, I was in the studio. First week I got out of 8th grade. First week of the summer, I was in the studio and I wrote a song called "Get It Crackin'." And Uno, Matt, he was the engineer on it. Sean was sitting in the studio, and I was one of the first victims. It was like the studio wasn't even done yet. They were sitting there putting up walls and stuff while I'm recording. I mean, but I started very young, just writing to this and that, and one thing turns into another. I mean,
is that studio still around?
That studio failed miserably. Like I said, I recorded that one song, and I went back probably like a week or 2 later, and I was planning on remixing it. Dude who I planned on remixing it with, he fell off the boat, and I ended up re-recording the song as it was, and Matt was still the engineer, but that studio was very short-lived. The team, they had some smart people on the team, but they just weren't the right team. And that studio was very short-lived. It didn't last much longer than a couple months. I couldn't even tell you how long now. But yeah, that was my first studio, On the Rise Entertainment, State Street. Well, inside joke, it deserves to have studio spray painted above the door. It was that hood.
Okay, second question. Who are your rapping influences?
Influences, man, I grew up on Wayne when the block was hot, in '99, and Outkast, Goody Mob. Those were influences growing up. And then I mean, as music developed, I started taking influence under this dude named Eminem, and this dude, him and all these main characters. And then eventually, as I progressed through the game, I started meeting people. I apologize. Eventually, as I progressed through the game, I realized, there's all these dudes on TV making videos, and they're getting all this money, but that's not me. So what I did was I started talking, looking up to the people I was working with. At this point, I'm talking about D Fresh from Slugger Entertainment, or Casanova, or people like SC and Uno, or the local people I knew. Hurricane I've met a few times, and I liked a few of his songs, but he appeared to me as one of those guys who took Hollywood to the head. And it's nothing against him. There's nothing against his style or what he does, his hustle, but he he was one of those dudes where, yeah, he had a good few songs, but, you know, when I would meet him in the club, you know, he'd be, it was like he didn't have time for anybody, and that's the best way I can put it, is he took Hollywood to the head. And
well, a lot of people did say his song was like a popcorn song.
Yeah, I was going to say, he came out with, you know, the little birthday song, you know, don't get me wrong, it was a hit, but that was... You know,
I think, what's his name? I can't think of his name at the moment. Did a better version of it not too long ago. Birthday Sex, whatever his name was. I can't think of his name.
The Jeremiah dude?
Yeah.
For R&B, yeah, that came out real nice. I don't think they had any relation, but...
Yeah, it was a better version of the song.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as, you know, birthdays go. But I say for Louisville and for what that song was worth, Hurricane did a good job, but... he just didn't keep it going long enough. I mean, he had a good opportunity. He could have taken that song places. But I don't know what he did with his money. I don't know what he did with anything he was doing. But he didn't go anywhere, obviously. Because where's dude now? I don't know.
I don't either. Alright, any solo projects on the way?
Solo projects, the last solo project, the motherfucking mixtape, that dropped last year. Really, I'm kind of waiting to see where this Strange Revolt tour leads up. We're gonna be doing a lot of going out of town and traveling over this next year, and I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be working on an album over a period of time with Revolution Entertainment. It's nothing where I have this track mapped out right now and I don't have this album theme, but I can tell you this much: I've got at least probably a full album sitting on the computer that I want to re-record. You know, new beats, you know, new people, stuff like that. I could go home this weekend and I could make a whole album and I could put it out, but I'm gonna take a little more time on it. You know, like I said, I'm gonna work with Revolution a little more and see how they can help me, and you know, it's just a matter of time. I think I need to be in the studio a little more right now, but I'm one of those kind of people who kind of go through phases. Say I may take 6 months off and I'll be 6 months on. You know, I'm seasonal, just like the weather.
Yeah, I like that.
But you know, right now, you know, I used to go through I would do like 6 months of shows and then I would do 6 months of recording. And you know, I did that for a few years. And right now I'm just chilling. I'm just enjoying it. Like I said, we got I don't think it's exactly Knoxville, Tennessee. I think it's Morrisville, Morristown. Either way, we'll be laid out at the park April 9th through the 11th. That's our next big thing. And you know, once we just start getting the shows going and we got time to chill, you know, I'll be doing a little more traveling, hitting the studios in Cincy and Carolina. You know, I got my own studio at home, but how much fun is it to sit around and play with myself? So
yeah,
we all know that.
Okay, you already answered question number 4 earlier. So what are your feelings on Sinful's moving from Revolution Entertainment to mobster music?
Well,
mob style music.
Mob style. That's funny. Sinful. Dude's name is Chris, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. And I know Buck's name is Tim.
Yeah, Tim.
I can't pronounce his last name. I wouldn't want to try.
Tim Kalbfleisch.
Something like that.
Buck, you motherfucker. I ain't even gonna talk to you. Sinful Chris, he's a very petty person. I remember, and I hope I'm not confusing my people. I know he has a cousin or something. One of them's Chris and one of them's Shane, and I think they're brothers or something. We'll stick to the Sinful subject. Sinful, as far as dude music goes, I've heard a few of his tracks. It's been years. I remember when we were working on Before the Revolt, Sinful had a track with Buckshot and whoever else, and I was in charge of chopping and screwing the album. I did the slowed and throwed part, you know, that whole project. And when it came down to it, I remember calling SC like, I know this album, you know, this track's already on the album, because Before the Revolt was done. It was, you know, pressed and done. We were putting this Load and Throw project together in the last few moments, and I was like, dude, this track with Sinful's whack, man. We can't put this on here. So he was like, all right, fuck it, don't even chop it, So, and I mean, that's coming from dude was on the label. I wasn't even on the label, and we're talking Sinful. We went ahead and cut the track just because the track was that awful. It was the only unoriginal track. They tried taking like a 3 6 Mafia thing. Either way, Sinful, honestly, dude's irrelevant to me. If you're out there and you see this and you're hustling, do your thing, but you're irrelevant to me. Mob style music, we all used to fuck with them. Me, Uno, SC, I fucked with them at a very small degree.
Me too.
A very small degree, enough to see, that I wasn't really a fan of, how that label worked and all that. But I saw enough. I showed up at the car shows, and I hustled with them and stuff. I tried to get rid of the CDs, and after really getting to know what kind of person Buckshot was, man, it was that the whole mob style scene was over for me. I was all about them. When I was trying to come up, and I was trying to make records, and that was the first label I really turned to, just because I was cool with Buck, and SE and Uno was running with them and stuff. But then we all kind of realized it at the same time, and that's when Revolution. I hate to say it, but in my mind it was almost like Revolution was a branch off of mob style, but honestly, Revolution was there before SC ever quit even fucking with Buck. Revolution was there. It was something, he had the rights to and everything, but I wasn't aware of it. And I mean, as far as Sinful goes, I mean, he never did too much for Revolution. Honestly, with where mob style's at now, I mean, they weren't even at the car show this year.
I know.